I'm Ellen, and I live in Brookline. I did grow up in New York. I've been in Massachusetts for almost 50 years. When I lived out in the suburbs, there was a woman who advertised that she was teaching basketry classes in her kitchen, and it was actually walking distance from my house, which was pretty unusual because you couldn't walk anywhere really in the suburbs. And I went over there, and I think there were two other women. We sat around her kitchen table, and she taught us actually 3 sessions, and each one we did a different kind of basket. She actually did most of it because I certainly had no idea what I was doing, and I don't think the other women did either. But when I came home, my kids were so excited. They thought this was wonderful. So it was very encouraging because they obviously never told me how wonderful I cooked dinner or how wonderful I did the laundry or anything else that I did around the house. And then I started taking classes at the Decorative Museum with a wonderful teacher, Judith Olney, who taught us to weave many different styles of baskets. I did that for a couple of years until I felt I was very comfortable with the techniques. And so I then went on to weave the designs that I had in my head. And those are the pictures that you have. I took a break because I had gone back to school for a career change, but when I decided I didn't want to pursue that other career, I went back to the baskets, and I think I had maybe only one. In fact, it was this one that was not done yet. And when I went back to it, I had an allergic reaction. I had a rash on my chest that lasted for months, and my face swelled. I thought it was from the insecticide that the reeds are sprayed with before they are exported to the United States, but that was not the case. But whatever it is, I stopped. And that's why, in a sense, why the top is the way it is, because I stopped weaving it, and I just painted it. It was many years later that I found out that the reaction I had was actually an allergy to dust mites, but at the time I didn't know that. But at the same time, I think already I had quilting friends who were encouraging me to get into quilting. And so I took one class, and when you start quilting, you always start with something called the sampler quilt. So you learn how to do a few techniques. I didn't do the sampler quilt. I wasn't interested in that. I did what I felt like doing, and that was it. But at the Coolidge Corner Library, they used to have exhibits of artwork. And I had thought about it, but I have a friend who is a painter. This I didn't realize at the time, but she had an exhibit at the library, and she told the librarian that she should get in touch with me. But not knowing that, I got in touch with the librarian. And so I had an exhibit of some of my quilts at the library. And one thing about fabric, people always touch fabric. And if you have paintings, nobody touches your painting. But fabric, always. And this is not good for the fabric. The oils on your skin really are not good. So there was just a concern about, people are asking me all the time, why don't I have more exhibits in this place or that place? These places are not watched. People will come in, they will touch, and also people sometimes walk off with these things. It does happen. But anyway, so I had some quilts there, and friends came. Everybody loved them and said, "Oh, you should be in a museum." But one of my friends came and took pictures with her camera. So I did actually. I go to before pandemic, I would go to the Quilt Museum to see every exhibit. So I knew the director, I knew the curator, and other people who volunteered there. So, I told them, I said, would you be interested? And she said, well, send me the photos. So my friend sent her the photos of my quilts. And that was it. I'm not the kind of person to really, be very aggressive about this. So that was it. But then in this, I guess in the spring of 2018, August is Quilt Month in Lowell. They used to have a big quilt festival every other year, which has been discontinued. But this gallery, the Air Loves Gallery, across the street from the museum, was still having a special exhibit. And so, if I recall correctly, a group from New Hampshire was supposed to exhibit in the gallery during that August, and for some reason they had to back out. So the curator called up the museum, and the director called me up and said, would I be interested? Oh, yes, I was interested. And so, of course, it was a transportation issue, but a friend drove me up there, and the curator the curator of that gallery, I mean, he hung it beautifully. I mean, it was really fantastic. And so that's how I had that show. And of course, people came and said, when are you going to be across the street at the Quilt Museum? And when are you going to have another exhibit? I have no idea. Will it ever happen? I don't know. That was a stroke of luck, and it was a wonderful stroke of luck. But now I have my quilts. I mean, now I have 2 piles in 2 closets. And, height-wise, I have room, but dripping down in front of me, and I have to be able to close the closet door, and it's kind of borderline now. So, I don't know, but I'm still making quilts.